Okay, review time, get right into it, but I have to make a change. Really quick caveat. At the very end, I talk about the price and how this, this is priced at $525, but online it's, MSRP is a little bit different. And I did check the other pistols, the Shield X and the Shieldplus, and they're actually kind of expensive. So this was $525. The Shield X MSRP is at like $600, so it's kind of up there. It looks like it's a nice pistol, but yeah, I want to make that clarification. In the regular Shield 2.0 was around $400, so you could probably get it for cheaper. And I'll look on Gunbroker and different sites to just check the price on my own. Excuse me. And yeah, I want to make that clarification so I'm not talking out of my butthole. Anyway, enjoy the review, and we won't have an outro. We'll see you at the next review series. Enjoy. Pew review. Here with the Smith & Wesson M&P9, Performance Center M&P9 Shieldplus Carry Comp. Those are terrible shots, by the way. Must be early in the morning. So, 1,000 round review today, going through the Shieldplus Performance Center Shieldplus Carry Comp, and comp in that has a compensator port on it. I know there's not a debate, there's just technicality. I guess it's easier to say comp, or it's a buzzword for the industry, I suppose. Anyway, if you've seen me, you've seen the channel, seen what I do. 10 episodes of 100 rounds per episode, different grains of ammunition, mostly 115, 124, and then at the end I do 147, although that's going to be modified just a little bit because I want to splice in 124, 115, and 147 in the same episode to see the difference for my edification. And we do static shoot, just plugging away at the targets from a static standpoint and then taking rounds down range just to feel the firearm out. Let's just get right into it. I'm not gonna go through all the rigmarole. I think if you've been here, you know what I do and how I do it. So, starting off with the cons of the Shieldplus. For me, the first con is the size. This is a thin, sliced 9mm carry, just like the 43X, CC9, the Shadow System CR920XP, Canic, METI MC9 Prime, and so on. In that the form factor is very thin, so it's a lot easier for the handler to carry it on their person. It sits flush, a lot more flush than others. I have a magazine sticking out, but the size on this, it's a full size slide. It's a I want to say it's a 4.2. Oh, I don't know what I'm talking about. 7-inch slide. So that's long. And then the polymer frame is relatively small. I mean, I suppose it's the size of the Shield or Shield X, and you can tell that there's a little bit, about an inch more compared to another carry that I have, the 6-hour P365X macro. That's a 6-inch. It stops right about here, so we have an inch more of a slide effectively for that port. and that creates a little bit of imbalance. And so when you carry, you don't have a full magazine, which this isn't full, but if you have a full magazine, it's balanced very well, but off the jump, it just feels a little imbalanced. And then also too, inside your carry, it's going to sit, of course, a little bit longer, so it's just going to be a little bit more wonky. If you're taller, your size is a lot bigger. I'm of taller height, and it's still a little, I don't want to say unwieldy, but there's a little play with the comfort zone as opposed to a traditional EDC that's a lot smaller, like the RXM. I'm sorry, RXM, the Ruger Max 9. Still the same company, but different pistol. But the Ruger Max 9 and the Taurus GX4, those will fit a lot better. So the size, the first con is the size. It's just a little bit bigger. Again, if you're more prone to a full size and you want a slimmer profile, then this would be great. And also not sacrificing the capacity, because we'll get to that in a minute. Feature set is the second con. So first con is the size. Second con is the feature set. It's just a small thing, Picatinny, not there. For the price of the firearm, with all the other features that it does have, that Picatinny seems like it should be kind of a no-brainer on there. Same thing with the 43X for the Glock. It doesn't have it. The Ruger Max 9, the Taurus GX4, they all don't have a Picatinny, so I'm not sure why the justification for that. It's probably because it needs to be more flush, or you could use it as an ankle holster. But because this is the size as it is, I think it should have that Picatinny on there. Just logic. I don't know the company. I'm not an executive, but it seems to me like, given the nature of the feature set, it should have it. You've got a port for Pete's sake. I mean, you should have at least a Picatinny. Come on, you got the optics cut and everything. So it just seems odd to me that you don't have that Picatinny on there, for given everything that the pistol does possess. And so that's the second con, is that feature set is just lacking a little bit. Not a big deal, because it was hard to find too many things wrong with it, and I'm just cherry picking a couple things because the performance was well and everything went good with the firearm. So the last con that I have is it's a small nitpick, but it's the only other thing I could really find, is the optics cut. The bolts that come with it are hex, not Torx, and I have several pistols probably that have Torx bolts on there, so it's a lot harder to strip. I stripped a couple on one of my 2011s, and that was no fun, because then I had to take it to my machinist to get it out. Anyway, I would like it to have, at least, if you're going to come with the optics cut, please have the Torx bolts. It just makes life a lot easier. Or I could stop being a baby and just take my time. But it's just less room for error when you have the Torx head. So that's the third con with the pistol. Let me know what you think. I don't have too much wrong with it. I mean, there's a couple of nuanced nitpicks, but again, there's for what it is, for the price, for the capabilities, the feature set, the capacity, all of it comes together and really does do a great job. Smith & Wesson really knows what they're doing, from my experience, from what I've shot. So the pros, first pro for me is the platform. M&P has been a great platform to swear by, I guess, and just like the Glock, it's starting to come into its own. And I've heard, and I'm sure many of you have heard also, the Smith & Wesson M&P series, just M&P, not the Shieldplus, just overall in general, is starting to edge out Glock, so to speak. I like I said, this is all conjecture, subjective. It's up to the eye of the beholder, sort of thing. But that's the consensus that I get, is that because Glock has stayed true for so long, they haven't innovated like Smith & Wesson, and the M&P series has improved over iterations. I had the M&P 1.0 full size, and it had that hinge trigger on it, and I sold that thing quite a while ago, and I never got into the 2.0, the M&P 2.0, but I have, so pause. There are actually several guns that I have that are of the M&P series that I will be shooting and reviewing. So I have since gotten back into the M&P series, and coming back into it, this is my first one since the 1.0 to shoot, and I had a good experience with it. It was nothing wrong. It just seemed like it was a little meh for the time back in 2000. Oh man, I want to say 15 or something. 2015 maybe, or 14. Anyway, the platform has iterated over time, and it's been in the last, I'd say, 10 years that it's come into a very good place and into its own. Aside from, you know, the Glock that has not, let's just say, I mean, the Gen 6 has definitely improved, but we'll get to that later on. So the platform itself has shown to be a very good performing firearm, and that to me is one of the pluses of this firearm, because I didn't go into it thinking that it's going to shoot great, but because it has that pedigree, and it's gotten better over time, and I had no problems with it after 1,000 rounds. I can say that, okay, the platform is performing well, although there are some things with the other models. We'll get into that when I do the reviews, but in any case, the platform to me is very solid, and this one did very well. So that is my first plus, and I know that maybe against my moniker of not being a fanboy about anything, but if it works, it works. And so far with the M&Ps, they have performed very well. So it's just like the Glock, people would swear by it, and so would I, because it has worked so well over the years. You can say that until something changes, and until something changes with the M&P platform, I'm going to say that this is solid, and I will have to shoot to give my opinion, of course, instead of just saying, oh, the M&P is probably great. I'll say that in my experience it has been, but let's see. Everybody, to each their own too. I mean, you may get 11 and it may be bad, but for me, this through the 1,000 rounds, the first pro for this is the platform. M&P has done very, very well. And so the second pro for me is the grip. The grip was very, very nice. I know I always like the grip to go up to the slide on the frame, but because the grip is 360 all the way around, and it does have a very semi-aggressive texture, it fits in your hand very well, and it is something to me that it of course is very important. And when I handled the firearm before I purchased it, which I did purchase this for $525, it spoke to me, and it felt very good. I would like to have the grip a little bit more on the trigger guard and up here on the gas pedal area and the trigger finger rest, but that's not that important. It shoots well, and I did well with it. So, excuse me. Grip is number 2. Now, performance is number 3. I'll just do a couple more rounds here, just 5 more rounds. Hopefully, do a little bit better than the initial shoots. Yeah, I just didn't hold the firearm. I didn't grip it. But that was very nice. I think the 115. That was 115 grain, and the performance. So that's pro number 3 is the performance of the firearm. Shot through everything, all of the different rounds. The Agulia 124 or 147. That's a subsonic round, and I've had issues with other pistols, and I'm not going to name names, but you'll see soon enough where the 147, 124 make the semi-automatic pistol act like a bolt action, and that's no good. So this chewed up through all the ammunition, did very well, and I'm very, very impressed with the performance of it. And I think it has to do, maybe it has to do with the port. I think it's up to conjecture. I haven't shot the other Shield series, the Shield X or just the regular Shield, so I'll have to look into those to, get a little bit more well-rounded opinion and see the benefits of that port, of the slide for this firearm. Now, the magazines that come with it are 10 round magazines. I bought one not aftermarket, but I bought one outside of the initial stock purchase to, you know, to have the increase capacity. But I didn't shoot any of those. I only shot 10 round magazines per YouTube guidance. Hang on. Fix my facial hair. But the ability to have that extra capacity and carry it on your person, to me, is important. Just like the Glock 43X, it didn't come with the extended magazines or the higher capacity magazines or the normal capacity magazines. That sticks out a little bit. Not really, no, it doesn't. It's just off to the side from my carry. So that was important to me, is that you have that capability to carry it. That's a sidebar. So yeah, performance of it was wonderful. I shot through the 1,000 rounds. It was very easy to shoot. A little bit tougher because you can have the smaller base plate, the regular size base plate, like the Ruger Max 9, the Taurus GX4 XL. Your pinky, and my hand being a little bit bigger, not bigger, but outside normal size, I suppose, bigger. It just wraps around the bottom, which isn't a problem. It gives a little different dynamic to it. But that aside, the performance of it was phenomenal. I really had a good time shooting, and I'm looking forward to the other Shield series pistols to go through, to test out, and hopefully they have the same, or they could show a similar experience, or maybe the port really does have, and the size of the slide really does have an impact on this firearm and on the platform. So a couple of nuances with it. The trigger was, and it's probably, you know, a safety thing, but when you're on the side, and I talked about it before in one of the other episodes, is you have to be on top of that safety lever, like the Glock. You can't come from the side, which is probably the point. And that, to me, it's not a negative, it's not a nitpick. It's just a little something that I noticed, because I don't necessarily like to get around the entire trigger too much. I like to just kind of have it off to the side, but it was just enough to, like, not have it depress, you know, not have it unsafetify. That's not a word, but that's probably the point, right? You don't want to have the safety not do its job. So that was interesting to me. I don't think I've had that with other pistols, is what I'm getting at. That was just interesting to me. And then the port, that's another nuance. Because I don't have a frame of reference, I haven't shot the other Shield series. The port is to me, it's a nuance. And once I can get a better baseline, then I can say that, oh yeah, I did notice this does have it has performed its function very well. With the Canic MandP MC9 Prime, that one has those 3 ports on the barrel. And this is why I'm saying that this is kind of nuanced for this firearm, is that I had those 3 ports on the MandP MC9 Prime, and it just, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it's really mitigating the recoil as a lot of these ports and comps profess that they will. So, and that's I'd say that's a 5-inch slide with a 4.5 inch barrel. Don't quote me on that, but anyway, the point being that it's nuanced in the take that I'm not sure, and I know that there's other channels that do like very technical shoots with the ports and the comps, but for me, you know, just feeling while I'm shooting, I can't really tell. So it's, for me right now, it's nuanced. There are some firearms that I can tell, and it's just, wow, I don't want to say night and day, because I also haven't shot their little sister that doesn't have a comp or a port, which I'll have to do, which is why I'm talking about the other Shield series, so I can get a frame of reference. But from right now, it's nuanced, because I don't know. it's a little thing that I'll have to gather more data on and shoot like pistols without the port, with and without the port. So my take, my opinion on the firearm after all the pros and cons, it's awesome. If you want, or if you like carrying something more full size and you want to be a little bit more flush to your frame, then this would be perfect. If you do need something with a little bit more feature set rich, this has everything aside from the Picatinny, and that may be something that deters people, but I think overall this performs wonderfully. I know people that carry the Shield platform as an EDC, and I very much enjoyed it. I thought it did very well, and it's in keeping with the M&P platform in the sense that it has done very well throughout the 1,000 rounds in different grains and not different settings. I haven't thrown in the mud or snow or water, but for this review, for the things that I did, I'm very, very pleased with it. I'll continue to shoot it. I don't think I'll put it in my rotation because of the size, because it's a little bit bigger, but it is something that I'm glad that I went through, and I appreciate everybody giving their take too, and please do give your take. If something you don't agree with me and you want to have a conversation, absolutely let me know, because it's definitely why I come here to talk about these things, for all of us to come together as a community and a collective to discuss what works, what doesn't work, what we like to see, what we don't like to see, and what we hope for in the future with these firearms and their establishments. Let me know what you think. All right, that is all for the review. Thank you so much for being here. Really do appreciate everybody, and I am humbled and very fortunate that you are here. So thank you. Come back for the next series, 1,000 round review series, coming tomorrow, and hopefully it'll be a welcome, not a surprise, but just a welcome, nice to see what's coming up next. And I'm excited to choose what I'm going to shoot and go through that. Right. Oh, one more thing to the price. The price $525. I saw somebody else sell you $550. That's awesome. Right in the frame, or right in the class that it's supposed to be in. And I think that's, again, this is part of my opinion, my take. That $550 or that $525, $550 price point is, I don't want to say perfect, but it's good. It's a good, solid place for the firearm to get into something if you don't want to carry a Glock. And this is the Performance Center ported, right? So the carry comp, that probably made the price a little bit higher, whereas the Shield X are going to be a little bit cheaper. So, okay, that aside. Again, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you tomorrow for the next review series. Until that time, thank you so much. Don't forget to aim for center mass, pick up your brass, wash your ass, say hi to your mom for me.